So, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, moms and dads. Here we are once again at the virtual chapter for the month of what is it? It's March already,
Yeah.
2025. We are so happy that you have joined us. We have a special guest today in Jeff Benink, who you'll hear from in just a little while. And so I think there's a couple of things that we need to talk about with regard to announcements and all that stuff. Mostly, of course, is the fact that the Hypno Expo is coming. Hypno Expo 2025, May 16th to the 18th is the weekend. And there are pre and post-conference programs the couple of days before and couple of days afterwards, as there usually is. So if you haven't signed up yet, there's still like one or two places left. So I would encourage you to get it while the getting is good and give a shout to the folks in the office or look at your catalog for information, or you can go to www. I oh well yeah imdha.com or iact.org, and I
Or
think
hypnosisalliance.com.
that's what I was looking. Oh, or www.hypnoexpo.com. How about that? We have got all of the bases covered,
While
and
we're on that, Michael, you're teaching a pre-conference, are you not?
I am teaching a post conference.
I'm sorry, a post-conference, yes.
Yeah, I am teaching a 2-day certified stress management course, the course that we also do online about halfway through the year as well. We do one a year online and one a year at the conference. So if you want to be certified as a stress management consultant, this would be an excellent opportunity to do that. By the way, I'm looking at my video here and I'm beginning to look like Bigfoot, who is blurry in reality. The pictures are excellent, but Bigfoot itself is blurry. So I'm going to need to make a little adjustment as we go along. But I'll get us all started here. So there's that as an announcement. By the way, in next, God, is it already next week? I think it's about. I apologize for not knowing this because it is something else that I am doing that I would love to let you know about. That is the IACT Certified Master Trainer training. So for anyone who's interested in training hypnotherapists and getting them certified through the association, you can take the Master Trainer training, which begins on a week from tomorrow, Wednesday, the 19th of March. It is 5 days, 5 consecutive days online. So uh, a lot of a lot of screen time, and it's going to be a whole lot of fun. It's always a lovely group and a lovely experience. So if you have an interest in that, that's available to you as well. What do you got going on in Chicago, Karen?
Right now, I'm finishing up my certification training. They'll graduate this month. I have one of my former students here tonight. I'm so delighted. He's here to learn about helping kids think, I'll bet you. I'm so excited to see you. Um, and That's about it that's going on until I act IMDHA. I do want to point out that Patty Scott is here too, and she's going to be teaching a pre-conference on medical hypnosis. So, Patty, give us a real quick uh, chat about that. What's happening in your medical hypnosis training?
It's Thursday pre-conference. It's a one-day training that I'm doing with my wonderful friend and colleague, Dr. Eric Rosen, and it's a one-day training in medical hypnotherapy for people who are already trained in hypnosis that want to take it to that next level and get great referrals.
And you can get a certificate, of course, for the training, but also you can take that on to an advanced level. Can you not, Patty?
Yes, they can move on and become certified. It starts in July. I don't have it in front of me right now, but they can take the certification training, which is 4 weekends, and be certified through my company, Up Hypnosis Institute, and IMDHA, which I cover their certification through them as well. And I will deduct the price they pay if they take the one-day training. I'll take that off of the cost of the certification training.
Very
What
cool.
a deal!
What a deal. And if you don't mind, as the night goes along, I'll try to stump you with another question or two that you weren't necessarily prepared to be hit with tonight. Thank you so much for sharing that with us.
Yeah, and Patty, I also want to make sure that people understand that 4-day program that Patty was talking about is 4 weekends rather, right? Is online. Yes,
It's all online.
it's all online.
Yeah, the 4 weekends are all online. They're not consecutive. They're spread out. I think there's like 1 week in between each one. So you got some outside assignments, which are so much fun.
Lovely, lovely. So much excitement going on. All
So
right.
that's all the announcements I have. How about you, Michael? We're good?
I think we are good. Okay. Well, there is just one other announcement, I guess. All of the Mondays of this month, so we're almost through them now. But next weekend, next Monday, and the Monday after that, we still have two more evenings of the presenter series, where the people that are doing the pre and post programs get to each have a half an hour to sort of talk about their program and answer questions, and and tell us about that. So that is 8:30 next Monday. Will be myself and Jessica Hansen. I'll be talking about the stress management program. Jessica will be talking about the parts therapy trainer program, and uh, and then we have another weekend or another Monday. Let's see who's the last one. Um, I apologize for not having this.
Bruce Eimer and Eric Rose.
Yeah, well, yes, Bruce Eimer and Eric Rosen
Thank
are
you, Patty.
one of the
You're
presenters
welcome.
for that last day, and a lady named I'm really embarrassed that I don't know her first name, and I should. It might be Lisa Donnelly is her last name, and she's doing a 1 day post conference workshop on IEMT. So
Lisa Donnelly. That's right.
yeah,
Is it Lori Donnelly? I think.
Lisa,
Oh,
right?
Lisa? Oh, sorry.
That
It's
always
Lori. It's
Oh, no,
Lori.
Mary Beth says it's Lori. I'm going to go with Mary Beth on this one.
okay. Well,
It's
I'll go with
Lori.
Beth on this one too, because she's a sharp lady and she was more prepared than I was. So great. But it's the so those are opportunities as well. There's always something going on around here, and we're happy for anyone who can join us because well, we just have a great time. So
Right.
that's about all I've got to say. If you have any further announcements, or if you want to go ahead and kick off this
Okay.
adventure.
No further announcements. I would like to see a show of hands, though. Is anybody getting more clients stressed out than normal? Is anybody seeing more stress in their practice? I am seeing lots and lots and lots of stress of all kinds. Stress because of the world order, stress because of whatever. I saw a client this week who wanted me to get her pregnant. Obviously, we all knew that I couldn't do that, but helping her with fertility. And when she called about this fertility issue, I wanted to know some things in the intake, like, what have you done? What have you checked? What kind of what does the doctor say? And she's done all of medical tests. Everything is showing okay. She is come off a year where she got a new job. She bought a house. She got married. She's really stressed out. She got married, and now it's time to have a baby. And I'm thinking, that sounds like a stress issue to me. And yes, I can help with that. And so stress is one of those things that kind of creeps its way in. And I have a tendency to be a believer in stress causes more illness than anything else in the world. I'm looking right at Alan Barsky right now. Do I get a nod of the head for that? Yeah, stress is the leading cause of dis-ease, mentally and physically. And so there are lots and lots of people. I would say, nearly half of the population in America right now is pretty stressed out because of the dis-ease. They're feeling in a lot of stress. So things are coming at people a lot. And I was really taken by a video on YouTube I saw this week, Melissa Tear's video, where she does 5 different techniques. Melissa is doing some resistance work. She's helping people on a pro bono basis in a lot of cases who are feeling stress, who are having stress because of things that are going on, or having stress because they're having to deal with people who don't believe the way they believe when they go to family gatherings and that kind of thing, no matter what side of the issue you're on. So Melissa is working to help people with stress and helping hypnotists who are feeling stressed or anybody else who is suffering from these stress related things. So I saw this beautiful video and I just thought, I could have brought some of this stuff to you, but God, it's Melissa's stuff and nobody does it better than Melissa. So I called her. She said, sure, share it. And we're gonna do that now. We're gonna share that video. It's about 10 minutes. And I don't care which side of the resistance aisle you are on, it doesn't make any difference. You're gonna learn 5 techniques here in this 10-minute time span that you will be able to immediately use for yourself and pass along to your clients, no matter what side of any aisle you might be on. So take some notes. Let's watch this together and we'll come back and talk about it a little bit after that.
By the way, before I push play on it, I'll mention that Melissa has written the anti-anxiety toolkit. So she has this lovely little book for those of you who haven't seen it that just has one technique after another. And this is the kind of thing that she does in the video that we're talking about here. So several different techniques. I think there are like 5
Yeah, there are 5, I believe.
in this, inside of 10 minutes, which is pretty good.
I am going to put in the chat room a link to a place where on Thursday, this coming Thursday, the 13th, she's going to do an absolutely free training on stress management and how to help and how to help yourself and others. So I'll put a link in that. You can register for her resistance training. It's this Thursday and it's absolutely free. Hard to pass up a free hour and a half with Melissa Tears, I got to tell you. But you're going to get a free 10 minutes right now.
All right. Well, with that said, I think we are ready to. I haven't. We talked about this today. I haven't shared a YouTube video on Zoom for a long time, and I had to test today to make sure that I still remembered how to do this. So I think that we are set for it. Mm.
Roll your eyes. That's right. When stupid shit is coming at you, roll your eyes. We have evolved to do this naturally, instinctively. Why? Because it changes our brain. It literally releases tension and slips us into parasympathetic response, which is the relaxation response. So I know your mother told you never to roll your eyes. That's because it transmits a lot of information, consciously and unconsciously. And it is a self-soothing, as well as defensive, technique. So when the shit gets real and people are in your face, whether it's, a comment, the news, or an actual person, feel free to roll your eyes. Stop. When you're feeling overwhelmed, start by doing this. Bringing your awareness to your sensory system. That takes some fire away from where it had been in the brain. Pay attention to how it feels. Even hear the sound that your hands are making. Feel the friction. Just take a moment to bring all of your awareness to your senses, right? Then you're going to take a deep breath in. As you exhale twice as long, you start by pushing and then following those hands with your peripheral awareness, shifting into peripheral vision, as if you could expand peripherally beyond those hands to all that space behind you. Take a deep breath in. As you exhale, imagine that nice bubble around you. This is defense against the dark arts, after all. Begin touching each finger with your thumb, bringing your awareness to the pressure. Vary the tempo, vary the pressure, and so that you keep your mind engaged only on those fingers. Taking a nice deep breath in, and as you exhale, got it? When I do that, I like to go, fuck off. But that's me. You choose your own words wisely. Next time you're feeling overwhelmed, ask yourself, where is this feeling in my body? Then ask yourself, where isn't it? Where's everywhere that it isn't? Notice what that does. Or what is it like? And then, what isn't it like? Notice what that does. Or as my friend John would say, what's everything I'm not noticing that's not that? Feel that one. What's everything I'm not noticing that's not that? You see, your dominant hemisphere, your left brain, can't answer that because it's sequential, it's linear. It would take forever. So it throws it to the right for a moment, essentially giving you an out, yeah? Destabilizing what your brain had been doing so that you can find a doorway out. If I say, what's everything I'm not noticing that's not that, that's good, I'm starting to directionalize consciousness. Where do I want it to go? Because if you're paying attention these days, you're going to feel overwhelmed, right? And we need to pay attention. So we need to be able to downregulate. We need to be able to, calm ourselves for critical thought so that we can see what's bullshit, what's not. What's pageantry and what's real. So we know where to fight. Right? So we know how to take the next step, how to move through it. I ask myself other questions then. How can I help? What do I need to do? What's the next smallest step I can take? Right? And whether that's making constant daily phone calls to your representatives, whether it's hitting the streets, or whether it's being kind. At this point, in this climate, every act of kindness, every act with compassion is also a form of resistance, right? Be kind. Be the very thing they can't be. Seriously, that too is resistance. There's a lot going on, and I know a lot of people are freaking out, myself included. So again, defense against the dark arts. You need to self-regulate. You need to keep your shit together so that we can be aware and not lose our shit, yeah? So the first thing to do is drop your jaw. Now by dropping your jaw, maybe relaxing the back of your tongue, that helps to downregulate through the vagus nerve, your entire nervous system. By doing this, as you see, if someone's having a conversation with you and upsetting you or annoying you and you do this, they'll get uncomfortable, possibly shut up. Or if you're by yourself, feel free to do all this. This comes from havening, but it's something that most of us do naturally. We do this stuff instinctively. I'll leave in the comments some of the science of what's going on in the brain, the delta waves and things like that. Then cross your arms and really rub your shoulders. And this time really pay attention to the senses. Pay attention to how it feels. And as you're doing that, you can first pay attention to how it feels, then pay attention to 3 to 5 things you hadn't been noticing visually, right? As you look around, take in 5 things you hadn't noticed. Do the same auditorily, right? What are you hearing that you hadn't been hearing, right? Do this, bring your awareness to your senses again. This is bilateral stimulation, along with havening, along with down-regulating through the vagus nerve, and it will help you to stop the spiral, then refocus, yeah? Time for more defense against the dark hearts, because boy, we need it today. We need it every day. What the hell's happening? But this morning, when I found myself spiraling and my internal dialogue was saying, like, this is a nightmare. What the fuck is happening? This is a nightmare. I had the wherewithal to just practice what I preach. And instead of this is a nightmare, I switched to that was a nightmare. Because the language of space and time can really help us here. Feel the difference between this is a nightmare and that was a nightmare. It gives you a little space, right? There's the difference between this and that. Feel it. That dissociates. And obviously is and was. But try this, right? Say to yourself, I feel, and notice where you feel it. Now say, I felt. How does your brain do that one? I felt. What about I will feel? Or even further, I will have felt. What does that do? How does your brain code it? Notice the difference, right? They're all stops on this continuum of time and space. So, as someone who's been politically active my entire life, marched on Washington and protested even before I was old enough to vote. I even did like punk rock the vote when I was younger. I'm used to raging at this machine. I am used to it. I am not used to sobbing. That's new for me. So this is what helped me today. Give yourself a little space, a little time. Create the distance. I mean, I could go way deep down this rabbit hole, but I think that's enough for today. Because boy, we fucking need it, right? Another day, another installment of defense against the dark arts. I was just walking on the beach and I had this idea because as I'm walking, I start ruminating, right? Because. And as I'm starting to spiral and feel this negative emotion while I'm on this beautiful fucking ocean, I hit this anchor that I've been installing as part of my experimentation for a class I'm doing called Deep Trance Magic. And what it is an anchor for curiosity. It's an anchor for transformation. So I've been practicing transforming emotions, right? Negative emotions into something else. But adding a dose of curiosity so I don't have to know what that something else is. And I link that anchor, right, to this question, what can it become? So I started to think, is there a way to share this with people without the need for a deep trance installation, without the whole magical ritual that is around this thing that I've created? And here's the way we're gonna do it. So anytime you're feeling curious, and I would look for it. I mean, curiosity is one of those things I reach for, right? Whether you're curious now to hear what I'm saying or how you could use this, that's one way, but go through the day, look for moments where you're curious, and every time you can feel that curiosity, anchor it, right? Just when I say anchor, it's just a kinesthetic anchor to kind of grab this state. And so once you do this throughout the day, looking for moments where you're curious or moments where you kind of transfer out of a state, laughter will do that, right? Laughter is like a doorway out. So laughter, curiosity, anchor it. And this gets anchored into this idea, right? I want you to think to yourself every time you anchor it, what can this become? What can this become? And for me, it became this idea. Can I share it without the deep trance installation? I think I can. I think it can work. But you let me know how it works for you.
A key part of the Beatles' sound was their vocal harmonies. So today, I'm going to explain how they
Hold on a
did
second.
some of them.
I don't know if
I'm going to
that's
use 5
disappearing for
different
you guys.
examples,
I'm still
and I'm
listening
going
to
to
some
attempt to
fella
explain
talking.
them in a way that hopefully makes sense to people with no music theory background and people who don't know how to read music.
The
But
Beatles?
into the harmonies themselves to explain how they work, the first
Mute
thing we
yourself
will
and
do
see what happens.
what the major scale sounds
There we
like.
go.
This scale is effectively...
Roll your eyes.
There we go.
Okay.
And you got me back audio.
You just muted yourself, but yes, we had you. There you go.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Wasn't that beautiful? I mean, yeah, there was an F-bomb and there was an S-bomb here and there. Who cares? Anchor that as laughter or something else. But gosh, wasn't that beautiful? And several techniques that, can you already imagine how you might use that for yourself or for others? Right? Yeah, Patty, I know. Isn't that great? And it's all stuff that we do anyway, rolling our eyes. Don't we teach that kind of stuff? All of that is beautiful stuff. So there it is. And if you want to join that resistance effort on Thursday, it is, it's in the afternoon, maybe 5:30 to, I don't remember the exact time, but you can go simply, the easiest way that I can think of to do it is go to melissatiers.com, and I've got it in the chat room if you want it, melissatiers.com. That'll take you to her stuff, and you can click on the resistance or look through her stuff and find the free training because it's really great stuff. Can you also see, if you know her anti-anxiety toolkit, bilateral stimulation and tapping and other things that she does, can you see how she took the basics and evolved it into processes, evolved it into something else? If we know the basics, man, we can really turn it into something, can't we? It's just great stuff. So, Michael, do you want to add something to that? You know, you've got this stress management thing coming up. I bet you're going to really be touching on that kind of
Well,
stuff.
as a matter of fact, yeah, sure. In fact, the anti-anxiety toolkit is one of the things that we highlight several pieces from that as well in the stress management training, and of course a whole lot of other techniques and how to set up to work with people that are dealing with heavy stress issues. So yeah, there you go. I tell you, I just want to comment on this. I mean, yes, the havening and bilateral stimulation and all the various things that we're also accustomed to hearing Melissa talk about. But you have to remember, as an undergraduate, I majored in linguistics, and and I love the language. I love the putting it in the past and the verb tenses, and all of that stuff as well, which is something I think is really useful for us to remember. One of the most important things that you can say to people in crisis or that have just been in crisis or in trauma, and there's a whole book that this is the title of a book called "The Worst Is Over." And somehow or another to be able to recognize that this thing that has freaked you out and it doesn't need to be freaking you out now in this moment, and you can move down the timeline. Yeah, I just love it. And everybody, y'all know I love Melissa. She's a great friend of mine, and
Yeah.
so happy to see her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was beautiful. We thank you for letting us play that. And this isn't exclusive to the virtual chapter, although it's going to be out there. But you can go to YouTube and find it. You can go to her Facebook site. She's got it posted on Facebook, so you can go places and find it if you're
And I'm
interested.
going to post it here in the chat room as well just after we get underway here. I'm going to
Post the link
and put the link here.
Thank you. Because it's well worth watching again and again, isn't it? Just
Yeah.
for your own personal benefit.
Yeah.
So, anything else that you want to do here, Michael?
Oh, I'm just all ready for the show.
So Melissa just helped us learn to deal with stress and how to think critically and things like that. And Jeff Benink is on to what I've been saying we've needed forever. Teach children to use critical thinking skills. Teach children, if only I'd known when I was a little kid that anger was just a signal. Let me know that I think something unfair is going on to me, or, whatever those definitions are. If we'd been taught that, wouldn't life have been better? So, Jeff, I got so excited about talking about you that I closed my iPad and your bio and all of that. So here's what I'm going to do if you don't mind. What I'd like to say is Jeff started out as a DJ and a musician and a band kind of guy. By the way, Melissa Tears started out as a punk rocker too. So apparently this is the way to go to get into this business, right? Jeff started out doing music and doing all sorts of other things. And was it a carnival, a fair that you went to work for, Jeff, at one point in your life?
Yeah, in the wintertime there were no concerts, so we did sales fairs in Germany, and that's where I met my first hypnotist.
That's how we usually start this out, is how in the world did you get into hypnosis? So how in the world do you go from being a party DJ to a hypnotist at a carnival?
I was working as a sound engineer, and I was engineering a stage hypnosis show, and I saw the show 3 times a day, and it was fun, but 3 times a day, the same old thing gets old. But we had dancers that were performing every time. But one of the guys got migraines very bad. He was puking on the side of the stage. And the hypnotist took him aside, and the next show he was dancing again. And my sister had migraines, so she was sick for days. So that made me think. So I started buying books about hypnosis, never did anything with it. And when life turned on me, when I had an accident in a theater and I needed to look for another profession, I saw an ad in the paper for College of Hypnosis in the Netherlands, and just take a look. And I never went back. And that started hypnosis for me.
And we're so glad he did. He is still in the Netherlands, by the way. He's coming to us from the middle of his night. And boy, do we appreciate you doing that. Now, he went from DJ, sound technician, carnival hypno guy to teaching kids to think in schools. And the Netherlands buy this from you. They go along with it. They let you teach their teachers how to help their kids. I'm just amazed. Please tell us all about it, Jeff.
it all started with getting a young client that was from a bad neighborhood. His parents were using slang words, cussing all the time, the S word, the F word. And he thought that was normal communication. And he got bullied, he got expelled at school. And for him, it was his normal way of communicating. And then I thought, should we start with kids, telling them how you can level the impact of words? And what does your own thought do in communication? If I think, I'm going to hit Karen, is that a helpful thought? If she's annoying, maybe, but I love her, so I won't do it. But if we can teach kids how to do it, we all got thoughts. Just take one in your head and just think about it. Is it helpful? Is it hurtful? Is it nice or is it awful? We can select 3 things, 4 things with every thought we have. And if we can teach kids to listen to those thoughts, they can understand each other way better because there's less bullying going on. The communication is on a whole different level. But what if we, as adults, could teach our children this way of thinking, this way of communicating with each other? So I started out making a plan. What is happening? So I started to design a way to make it. Let me see if I can share. Yeah. Just see if I can find it. That's the other thing. Here it is. I hope you all can see it.
Yes.
We just talked about this. I go through this a little bit quick. You all get the slides afterwards. If we teach what a thought can do to an adult can explain it to a kid. This first part was for adults. You can read it on your own. When we're teaching kids how to think, the adult has to know what it is. So empowering is like giving you a big boost to grow and be happy. Destructive is like being a big rain cloud that makes things sad and yucky. Supportive is like having a superhero friend who helps you when you need it. And discouraging is like a grumpy monster that makes you feel like you can't do something. These are just examples of how we can let kids understand what it means. But it starts always with the adult or the teacher who can explain it to the kids. But kids don't really understand words yet. So we got to think how we do it a different way. And that made me think. So
While you're looking for that, Jeff, let me just ask, what age are we talking about here? What age kids are we talking?
I work with kids between 6 and 12 years. So it's, what would that be in America, school-wise? Is it 3rd grade?
Elementary school. Yeah. Thank you.
So I designed a system. I start out with a theater program where you see my head with little animals on the side, and the kids decide which emotion is which animal. So every time it's different. And we got a team. We got the thought detective. That's the one who finds out what a thought means. And we got a positive cheerleader. It's about the happy stuff that encourage. And there's the creative dreamer. A lot of times the kids are this themselves. But this is the worst one you can have. It's the detrimental critic. It lowers their self-esteem, self-doubt, negativity. It is the one they got to learn to look for. And we do it all as a play. So it's not that we tell them at one point, this is what you need to do, this is how it works. It's a whole program that they go through with little games and role playing. Whenever we have the kids understand how to think, the atmosphere in the classroom starts to change. With everything we do, we try to encourage them to figure out what it is, what they think, what it means. And that wasn't enough because kids are all over the place. How can we make it nice in a classroom? And then we started out with doing meditations before school time. When the school starts, everybody sits down and we start out with a little meditation. And I know, Karen, you talked about it before, but I want to take you all on a journey of sitting still like a frog. I normally do it in Dutch, so I keep my papers with me because in English it's a little bit different. This exercise teaches you to sit with the tension of a frog. Stopping whatever you're doing in order to focus and observe is the beginning of every mindful exercise. It helps you to find out what you're thinking, feeling, and doing. Stopping and observing is what you can learn from a frog. A frog jumps, stops, and sits really still while observing everything that's going around him. When you sit like a frog, you only move when you really have to. When a frog is hungry, it only moves to eat. And when it's startled, it moves a little, just because it's startled. Sometimes it only moves one eye because a raindrop dropped on it, or a single leg to change position. But it doesn't waste energy on things it doesn't have to do. The frog sits still, very still. And when it breathes, its frog's belly rises a little and falls again. It's alert and still, attentive. A frog isn't easily distracted. It's aware of all the commotion around him, but it doesn't react. It sits still with mindful attention. It doesn't jump at every chance, although it's capable of enormous leaps. This way the frog does not get tired. It doesn't do things for no reason and does not get carried away by all kinds of mad ideas. It can stop jumping and be still. You can learn to sit still like a frog. So now I ask you to sit down comfortably in a chair or a cushion and straighten your back so it's relaxed. And if you like, you can close your eyes or lower your eyelids as much as you're happy with. Take your time to sit up straight and relaxed. Your feet on the floor, your back straight and your shoulders down. And you can leave your hands in your lap. Now imagine your frog somewhere on the edge of a large pond. Of course, you're not really a frog. But you got something a frog has too. The ability to sit still. And what you need to sit still is attention. Attention and calmness. The attention that stops you from jumping up and running away from what you're doing right now. And calmness to stay seated. So take time to focus your attention and sit still like a frog. Your arms and legs are still. Your bottom and your belly are still. Your back, your neck, and your head are still. Your entire body is calm and still. Mindful and calm. Still and attentive. And when you're sitting here, all still and calm, you notice all kinds of things. You may notice that a small part of your body is always moving. A finger, your leg, your eyelids, or something else, that's fine. The point of this exercise is not that you're not allowed to move, but to notice that a part of you is still moving. So what are you noticing right now? When you notice small movements here and there, then maybe you notice that with each breath, some part of your body also moves. Why don't you direct your attention to the tip of your nose? There where the air goes in your nose and comes out again. What do you feel? Be aware that your breathing is a special experience that can help you relax. Maybe you also feel the breath in your throat, in your chest, or perhaps even further down in your belly. You can put your hands on your belly to feel how it moves a little every time you breathe. It's a kind of fun to be so tuned in into your breathing. And it tells you all kinds of things. It tells you if your breath is regular or irregular. You may also notice the brief pauses after you breathe in and just after you breathe out. Maybe you can tune in to this pause after each breath. You don't have to change the way you breathe. Just breathe normally. And notice how special those brief pauses are. After each breath in and after each breath out. And there's another special thing in your breathing that becomes a bit calmer and deeper after a while. You notice that your body becomes a little bit calmer too. And more relaxed perhaps. And your thoughts are calming down too. Breathing brings calm. So breathe in and breathe out again. Every time you breathe in, your belly rises a little. And every time you breathe out, it falls a little. Have a look. Direct your attention to it. To the gentle movements of the breath in your belly. It feels good to tune in to your breathing. And it feels good to calm down. Breathing does not require any special effort. Your body breathes all by itself. Observe the movement of your breath a little while longer as it rises and it falls. It rises and it falls. And the air goes in and out again. Attention and breathing. They calm you right down. At this moment. And again at this moment. Can you feel it? You can learn a lot from a frog. You can learn to not react to everything you think, hear, or see. You are aware of everything, but you don't react unless you really have to. On purpose rather than impulse. Sitting still with the mindful attention of a frog. Practice and you get better at remembering things. You'll notice a lot more. And I wish you a lot of moments of mindful attention today. And loads of fun. This is one of the meditations that we start the day with in school. Only by starting with these kinds of meditations, the cohesiveness in the class grew. Kids are getting better grades. There's less bullying. There's more understanding. Together with teaching them how to think, listening to their thought detective. What does it mean? Is it helpful, hurtful? Or is it positive? Can it be part of the cheerleader? Or is it the detrimental critic that is talking? After a while, we see a shift in the classroom. Kids are talking instead of testing each other out. There's more communication and there's less bullying, but there is something else happening. They are starting to help each other without a teacher saying, "Can you help her?" No, they start helping each other. And then we ran into a problem. It is nice when it happens, but then you have kids that come from another neighborhood that use different language, more slang, more street talk is what we call it here. And there's a mismatch. So we got back to the same problem. And then I decided I needed something else. And it's not something I created. It is something that I saw somewhere. It is think and think before you speak. The T is for, is it true? The H is for, is it helpful? The I is for, is it inspiring? The N, is it necessary? And the K is it kind? If we can teach kids to think about what they're saying, and we do it again with games, in a play, and they start to understand that it's their power if they are friendly or not. Even when they hear the F-bomb at home all the time. We see kids change in just a couple of weeks. They use different language at school. They probably use the slang and the F word at home, but in the school, they change their communication. And with teaching them how to think and how to speak, the environment at school and at soccer and at gymnastics and everything changes. And I believe if we can get this program in as many schools as possible, we can change a lot of troubled areas. If we change the kids, we can change the outcome for the future. In Mid-America, we were talking about this program, and that some schools in Chicago don't have a teacher. The kids are teaching each other because the teachers ran away from school because kids were so bad. That is what I got from it. Karen, you know more about it.
Yeah, I would think that's definitely not the norm or the majority. But yeah, there are some areas that are troubled. Yeah.
So that's
And not in just Chicago, just every place. Poverty and all
every
sorts of
place.
things affect that. Yeah. Yeah.
I just heard the story about Chicago. That's why.
Well, you were in Chicago, of course.
Yeah.
And everybody breaks bad on Chicago, but we're in a wonderful little place.
No, it's fun there. I believe if we can get our foot in the door at schools as hypnotists, and we can start with the little ones, teach them how to think and teach them how to speak in a different way. I think we can change the future of some neighborhoods. Not only kids, but even adults are having the benefits of this program. There is one lady that took this program and is trying it out with people with Alzheimer's in a care facility. And she is trying to see if they can adapt this system in a way to bring people back to be able to talk easier. Let them think first and then talk, even though their mind is probably far back in time, but with talking at a normal pace and in a normal way instead of being really vocal and aggressive, it helps the nurses that work there to be not so aggravated at the end of the day. So it can work a lot of ways. I don't have the results yet. We're working on the program for her. In schools, the results are crazy.
So
But
Jeff, I
she
really
has-
want you to talk about that, but I've got a question if you don't
Yeah,
mind.
of course.
How did you convince them, you, a DJ turned hypnotist, convince educators that this is a good idea to put in the schools? How'd you approach it to begin with?
I went to school with one of my clients, and he was a boy badly behaving. And they asked me to come and follow him one day at school. And it was, yeah, a rowdy bunch at the school. It was going crazy. And it's a boy that really needs boundaries. And there were no boundaries. So he said, I don't want to do this. I walk off. And the language that I heard at school it were kids around 8 years old. And I, as adult, was looking, I don't know where I'm at here. So I talked to the teacher and said, we can do something about it if you're interested. And then I started developing this program for that school. And that's where I ran the pilot. And schools talk to each other. And before I knew it, there were 7 schools involved. And we're hitting the 25 mark next week.
Excellent. Yeah. Tell me a little bit more about the program, if you don't mind. So you said it starts out with meditation, but is there something every day? Is it a 5-week thing? Is it the first thing every morning? How does it play out in the school system?
The meditation starts every
place. So somebody's got to be teaching the teachers, right?
Yeah. I start teaching the teachers, most of the time 1 or 2, who are starting to implement it. And we start with the meditation every morning. And some schools do it after the lunch break too. And that helps a lot because kids are really amped up after playtime, after lunch. So they start with the meditation and they can go back to teaching way sooner than before. And the atmosphere in the classroom, the energy is lower, so the memory retention is bigger with the kids.
Jeff, do you do the same meditation, the same one each day?
No, there are a couple that we do. Yeah, shorter ones, longer ones. This is one of the longer ones.
Do the kids ever get to request the meditation they want for the day?
It depends on the teacher. The frog is popular.
I'll bet it is.
And sometimes it's just a guided meditation.
But it's something to set the mindset.
Yeah.
And there's good training.
You don't use the word hypnosis.
No. I don't use the word hypnosis because then I get the parents.
So what do you use that we can translate into English?
I'm a behavioral scientist. That's what I am. And we start the day with guided meditation. And it's a program based on NLP.
Well, we know that guided meditation is hypnosis, but boy, does that go down easier.
Yeah. There's nobody standing off with a guided meditation.
So do you have a curriculum? Do you have a proven track record? Do you have something that American hypnotists could borrow from to try to get this implemented in our schools here?
Yeah, I have the presentation I have that has the research results. The new ones are getting in next month, so I want to put them in as soon as possible. We follow up with every school we work with that use the program, just to see what is the difference in the results, because I keep tweaking because I want to have better results every time. The files from the schools will be public for American hypnotists to use. So it's just the same sheet, and they give stars. And I will translate the questions that there are. Let me share the presentation. We skip a little bit all over the place.
Well, I didn't mean to rush you. Don't let me take you off track.
No, but it's a nice thing to talk about.
Jeff, I was just wondering if they're seeing the grades of the students going up because they're calmer and more focused.
Yes, they do. We can go a little bit. It's a little bit of the science. I'll get back to it. These are some questions we ask, and it is 80% that the teachers say the kids are more relaxed. There's more peace in the classroom, 75%. Do kids feel better about themselves? 80%. Do children develop more empathy? 75%. Is there less bullying? And this is a really big one for me. Children can concentrate better. That is not so much. I would expect that to be better. And can they communicate better with each other? It all went up in numbers. And the most important thing in the whole program is when you start implementing it, you get a cohesiveness in the classroom where they act alike and think alike. So it's way easier on the teacher. After the first month, most are not so exhausted when they go home because the children are less energy, there's less fighting, less bullying, so they can do their curriculum way easier. And that is the nice part about this program. And I think as hypnotists that there is a need at a lot of schools for a program like this. And I'm not selling the program. I just want kids to be helped. This is not a sales talk. It's just I want people to be able to get this into the school system.
I'm always trying to inoculate against. So I'm always looking for what could go wrong. Okay. So I do have a concern, and you can put my mind at ease on this, about dampening the spirits of freewheeling kids. I mean, sometimes there are independent thinkers, independent workers who just act outside the norm a little bit. Are those kids being dampened by this effort?
No, we're not damping the kids. It is the high energy that and the mismatch in between the kids that is taken care of. But kids still can be kids, but with boundaries. And kids tend to do better when there are boundaries and they can move in between. And one of the things I tell schools, don't be harsh on kids. Let them find out for themselves that this is a better way to communicate. Of course, there are boundaries, but if you want to shout, shout. But take the kid apart and tell him why it's not helpful when he shouts, instead of fighting aggression with aggression. That is what's happening a lot. And that makes a whole lot of difference. But please let kids be kids.
So Brenda Rhodes just put something in the chat about they won't let anybody in the schools in her area unless they have a teaching certificate. Is there, it may be way different than that in the Netherlands, but is there a way around that you know of?
Yeah, the school that I'm working with in the US to start implementing it, the school social worker is the person to go through. So I'm not directly working with the kids, only when I do the theater play at the start of the program. All the rest is done by the teachers. I teach the teachers the program and they implement it in their class. It's not that I'm teaching the kids and I can do that in the Netherlands as a special teacher aide, but it's way easier to just observe what is going on from a distance if the program is working, and teach the teachers how to how to do it. The only thing that I ask is that when they start doing it, that they get consent of parents, that I can get a video.
What state are you doing it in the America?
It will be in Tennessee.
In Tennessee, in Nashville?
A little bit outside of Nashville. It's around Cooksville area.
Wow. So you really gave me a great idea, Jeff, because yeah, social workers or counselors, that might be a great entree into schools. They might
And
even understand the whole language of it.
And it's easier to work with them because they see the problem way bigger than the teacher themselves.
Yeah.
Karen and I were meeting and stuff, and we dug up, talking about this kind of stuff after Mid-America, but was it Goldie Hawn? Is it that her
Yeah.
think thing? Is that where the think thing came from? So
Yes.
a lot of the schools are already using, I forgot what it is, but it's her program, Goldie Hawn's program. Do you know what I'm talking about, Jeff?
No.
So you could probably Google that because that's how we found it. We were looking for ways in, and that program came up. And it is being sold very inexpensively, right, Randy, to some schools in the country already.
Okay.
A lot of schools. I mean, the town Portage, where my kid went to school, has it, but not, they purchase it or whatever, but it's not, and the teachers can get trained in it, but it's not like, I think they do it once a month or something.
Yeah, it's not like this. It's not this extensive.
No, it's important that it's a daily thing for it to work.
What's the feedback you're getting from parents?
That the kids are less energy when they get home, that they're more polite. And that's not always a good thing, especially when they come from rowdy suburbs, because parents can get angry that their kids are using different language, that they're not the same. So that's something to talk about. But mostly it's positive.
And how do the kids respond to it?
A lot of them love it. They got to get used to the new boundaries, of course, but the atmosphere in a class where kids didn't want to go to school, they really enjoy being there now, and that's a big win.
When do you introduce boundaries?
It is at the start of the program. This is the way that we connect with each other, and it's playful. It's not we're gonna do this, we're gonna do this. Everything is connected in a play and in lessons on how do you feel and what will happen if somebody shouts at you. Can we do it differently? Can we talk? Can we use different language? And step by step, we introduce it.
In this country, we have Inside Out. Have you seen that movie, Jeff?
Yeah.
Inside. So, yeah, it's a great movie. And it just occurred to me that what a great jumping off point if you start with that kind of thing to pique the imagination and to get to get the education started and move that into role playing. Because isn't that what we do in hypnosis? Now step into it. Imagine it, now step into it. And so that might be a next level kinesthetic real world way of doing kind of hypnotic process. Now step into it.
I think it's important that it is not that we're limiting kids, but we let them understand that there's another way. And they find out that the other way makes it more joyful to be in the classroom, be with friends, There is more interaction instead of pushing and tugging. The atmosphere. Yes.
Yeah, the ripple effect of the atmosphere of the
Yeah.
whole world when you learn boundaries and appropriate boundaries to set for yourself and to respect others. That's a pretty important lesson.
And that's a lesson that wasn't taught enough. It is always, no, don't do it. But what if you do it a different way? And that is what this program does.
So I don't want to interrupt you, but I just want to make sure. Are there any questions in the room? I've had some things pop up that I just couldn't wait to ask, and I want to make sure that if you have some ideas or
Please
some
do, please
up
do.
to ask away. Well, don't hesitate. Jeff, I didn't mean to interrupt. Go ahead. Please continue.
If you just think about being around colleagues or being around friends and family, how many times do you think, we're not on the same level? He doesn't understand me. He doesn't speak my language. Or look at him. He's always the guy. That is what we bring down with this program in the classroom. And I see a classroom as a small universe. And if we can change that small universe in working together, and maybe the universe next to it and next to it. That's why we start at the lower grades. They take the information and the new way of being to the next year and the next year. And we have the first two classes now that went up 2 grades. And it's a complete difference because the kids are used to the system and they are more on the same level altogether. So there's no I wouldn't say no bullying, but it's at a normal level. It's not from high off that they attack each other. They're still kids, but there's no big fighting or anything. And the school goes quicker through the curriculum that they need to teach. That goes quicker than normal. So there's more time to explain things and work on things. And that's what schools really like. So it is changing the way the kids think and a kid speaks has so much more value than just changing the way they think. There's less stress in the classroom. We all know what stress does. And when we can lower it, it's easier on the teachers because I don't know how it is in the US, but teachers go down here by a lot of stress.
Yeah,
And they can do loads more of work in the classroom instead of taking it home to do the grades at home and everything. So their workload is lower too.
So, Jeff, you teach teachers and perhaps counselors or social workers, and they get the rights to use your everything. So you do like a day training or something, and then
It is multiple day training.
multiple, like 3-day training
It's every 6 weeks.
for 2 hours,
I'm sorry, Brandy.
like
You're
every
not
6
teaching them to be
weeks.
hypnotists, right? You're just giving them scripts or giving them things to do, activities to do.
Yeah.
So your program comes complete with.
It comes complete, but you got to explain why and what.
So if I wanted to do this in a classroom, what would happen? What would I need to do?
you get in touch with the school, and you get the scripts, you get the way the curriculum, and you implement it bit by bit. If you do everything at once, they get overwhelmed and they don't do it.
So I would do a training with you and then go into a classroom and teach the teacher, or
Yeah.
I would be or both, all of the above.
I will train you what to do, but I'm making it that it's hands-on, that it's just that you can take and run with it. And you just have me as a backup where you can ask your questions. We can figure out the difficulties. Because the school system in the US is different. So there are some other rules that apply.
I mean, I have friends that are teachers. I have a friend that's a third grade teacher. So, I mean, I know she's doing that other thing. She's the one who told me also it's like once a month or something that they do but she might be a good test model for the third graders. But I mean, I don't know if you start in March.
Yeah, the best way to start is at the start of the school year. If you start in March, your schools go to May, I think. So you're just at the end of the building phase. So I would start at the new school year.
But now is the time to work your way into having stuff ready to
Yeah.
start for the new school year. So this is the time to be approaching principals or schools, hoping the education department stays intact.
Yeah, let's hope it stays there.
I know. So, Jeff, I kind of got us off track a little bit. If you have more stuff that you want to share or more ideas, I don't want to. We've got about 10 minutes left, so I want to make sure that you get all of your stuff in that you want to share with us.
If anybody has questions, I think questions are more important than little things. I will put in the chat. I'm a guy. I can't type and talk at the same
What do you
time.
want in the chat?
I'm a girl.
I will put
can't
the
do that.
website in the chat where you can get the information. You can get all the slides. And if you want more information, you can just contact me that way. Important is there is no fit for all in this program. Because the one city has no problem with language and another city has so many cultures. So there's always tweaking by the teacher or the social worker. But they know exactly what they need to do. The program is outlined how they can use it. And you as a hypnotist can use the outline to teach the teachers, our language. You know what the best way of delivery is with a meditation. And that's all what you get from A to Z, the whole program. And
Just a comment. I was aware this year of a number of youngsters coming in to see me on an individual basis. And in many, many schools, they're teaching the kids EFT. So, maybe as hypnotists, we need to listen to some of our younger clients to find out, have they been taught EFT or some form of one of the tappings? Because maybe that indicates that there's an opening in that particular kind of school to do more with them. And some of them have said the teachers have taught them breathing techniques and, to just close their eyes and be quiet for a few minutes in the morning. So I think there's places where we could just take this and really expand it in a very healthy way.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
A lot of schools are looking for openings to change the way they interact with the kids.
In the Netherlands, Jeff, do they have what we have identified here as teachers in service days? We have, like in my local school system, they'll have like one day every 6 weeks where the kids are off from school. They have a day home, but the teachers all go in for workshops and extra education for the teachers. Do they do that same type of thing where you live, or?
Yeah, they have those days too, but a lot of times those days are consumed by just talking to each other. What can we change, and cleaning up the classrooms and everything.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
the complaint I hear.
it would be good on one of those days to just be able to go in and sit with teachers and say, hey, this is something that I know about, and would this be something beneficial for you for the next year coming up? So I still have time before school gets out, middle of May, to hit at least one or two more of those teacher in service days.
Yeah, that would be great. What I do, I go to a education fair here in the Netherlands to promote the program. And there are the buyers for the schools that are looking at new education gear that are there.
It's a
And there are a
really
lot
good
of,
idea.
there are a lot of those. And what you can do is team up with uh, businesses that sell educational gear. They gladly bring something new to the table.
Thank
They
you.
give flyers out. So that is a way that you can do it.
Mm.
Karen.
Jeff, we're gonna play a little hypnosis game here. I want you to get in touch with your feminine side and type your website into the chat box because the links I have are not working.
No, I made one specially for you.
And it's not, the one I have is not working. So if you would put that in the
Oh,
chat, I would appreciate that.
I'm gonna see that I got the right one here. Yeah.
And don't anybody say anything because we want to, there we go. Okay. So what I have is just Jeff Benink. Maybe that's why it didn't work.
That should work. Let me test it.
I'm testing it now.
Yeah, it works.
Yeah, it does. Okay. So now we've got Jeff Benink hypnosis. Now that's easy to know. So anybody who's listening and not looking at in the chat room, that's what it is.
Yeah, jeffbeninkhypnotist.com.
Yeah,
Slash voices.
JEFFBENINK hypnotist.com/voices. There we go. Now you've got that link. And is that a way that they can get in touch with you as well if they want more information?
Yeah. If they sign up through their website, they get the information package. And my phone number and everything is on it.
Great.
Oh my gosh, I just tried to sign up and it says, attention, website blocked.
Is this an issue that we're having with it? Is there a tariff attached to his website? Sorry, I didn't mean to go there.
Gave me a suspected malware.
Huh.
That shouldn't be the case, but I will look into it.
Yeah, mine opens up.
Mine
Yours
does
opens.
too.
Joe, did you put an email in?
Yeah, I put
Mine-
my email and name in, and then it comes up blocked. Okay, I'm going to visit this site
Oh,
anyway.
Joe,
You
what
have
is
to-
blocked is the pop-up that comes that you
Yeah, the
registered.
pop-up. Yeah. You have
So
to
you're
click
in.
allow.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm not sure what's going on. I can't speak to it. All I know is that I was able to put mine in and mine went through. So
mine said block, allow or block. And so so
Yeah,
that's,
it's probably a pop-up blocker like Google Chrome uses, and
yes.
it just sends a message as a pop-up that you're registered.
So will they
Okay.
get the email? I got a pop-up that said I'll get an email from you. Is that what they get?
Yeah.
Okay.
And otherwise, it's jeff@jeffbenink.com. You can always email me at this address. If the tag is not working, you can always find me.
There we go. That's important because there's a lot of interest in this, Jeff, and I think people may want to get in touch with you as they try things and move toward this, try to get it implemented in schools and things like that. It's a great, great, great program.
And please do. It's all I want to do is just get the new generation a better start. And it's a nice opportunity for us as hypnotherapists to get into the door.
Exactly.
Right. I like the end run around that you came up with because going to principals, I mean, Randy and I talked about this. We thought we'd start maybe at a Montessori school or someplace like that. It seemed overwhelming, and having to go through school boards and, superintendents and things like that. But finding a school where you can have a conversation with a counselor, social worker, something like that might be a really good way to introduce meditation. Heaven forbid hypnosis. I can't even believe, I mean, obviously you're not calling it hypnosis in Tennessee.
I did.
The reason I say that is I have a friend who moved to Tennessee, and when she first moved in, the neighbors brought her cookies, and about 3 or 4 days later, they found out that she was a hypnotist, and her neighbor put up a fence to keep
Wow.
out those evil spirits. So that's my
That's
impression.
harsh.
of Tennessee. I don't know that that's true. That's just my current impression.
By the time I lived in Tennessee, they were open.
I thought you said you don't talk about hypnosis.
No, but at this school, I got to this school by doing a hypnosis show for her daughter's college.
Gotcha.
So it's even my way in was stage hypnosis, and I got to talk with her.
Yeah. Well,
And sometimes that's all you need. Just start talking.
Yeah.
Because everybody knows somebody at the school.
Well, and laughter is the best medicine or the best door opener. And if you're doing an entertaining show, you've got the laughter going. So already the state is in your favor.
That is why I start out with this. Sometimes I just do my theater show. That's this program.
Yeah.
And then they want to know more.
Yeah. It's fascinating. And we have come right up to the end of our time tonight. Any questions? We've got time for one, if there's one. Patty says, thank you. Thank you very much for joining us, Patty.
Thanks for being here, Patty.
And thank you guys
Steve.
for joining us. I agree, Joe. That was great. I'm so delighted that we
You
came.
all, thanks for having me. I know it's a little bit up and down tonight, but that's a language barrier and way too little sleep.
Well, I didn't
you
notice
did
the language
great.
barrier at all. I thought it was wonderful.
Truly excellent and very engaging. We'd like to hear more from you. I bet you will be in touch soon.
Yes.
And anybody who wants to get in touch with me, I'm on all the socials. You got my email, you got my website. Please do. It is important for me that this program goes out so we can change the future.
Yeah. Thank you, Jeff, so much. Would everybody do what we always do at the virtual chapter, and that is open your microphones and give Jeff the positive affirmation that he deserves, the thank yous that he deserves.
Thank you,
Thank
Jeff.
you. Well
Thank
done,
you.
Jeff. Can't wait to
Cool.
see you.
Bye-bye.
See you again
Keep up
soon.
the good work.
Thank you, Jeff. We'll
Thank
be
you
in
so
touch.
much.
Looking forward to seeing you soon.
Good night.
Bye, everyone. Take care.
Good night. Thanks for being here.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.